And play music. Let's see. We have passed our lives again. Zion.
Gotta catch 'em all!
We're teachers! Pokemon! Gotta catch 'em all!
Gotta catch 'em all!
If you're hardcore, you'll do the next verse, but we're not gonna do the next verse because we're not.
Every challenge! Oh, sorry.
Thank you for being longtime fans, a lot of you, for 20 years. It's totally awesome and totally unexpected on my part. Who would have thought when I started this crazy, cheesy job that it would have turned into this big, awesome opportunity to continue to meet people all across the world. So.
Awesome. Come on, keep raising the roof.
I'm Austin St. John. These guns.
I'm Amy George Olsen.
Kerrigan Man.
Barbara Goodson. Oh, yeah!
My name's Nikki B. Hi, I'm Kat Sutherland.
Hey, I'm Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Ranger, aka
Just extraordinary friends, and Steve, and it was a great time. We were like siblings on the show, so we had a lot of great moments and a lot of Bulk and Skull moments.
The funny thing too is, because we'd be there so early, and they get us into makeup and wait around so long, we go back to our dressing rooms and sometimes fall asleep. So then someone would show up on the set with a big crease across their face that looked like a sofa cushion. And I can't shoot now. So that was fun. We weren't stoned, we were just sleeping. Just sleeping.
Go ahead, Kat.
We used to dress the girls in skimpy clothes on freezing cold days, so that was hard for us to have to be in shorts and look like we were fighting and stuff, and we were like goosebumps and freezing. It was awful.
As a fan, I enjoyed that part.
Thank you, Paul.
So let me open this up. I would like to start. It was just me and my mom, and
Wicked awesome, dude. Wicked awesome.
And it was just watching you guys help raise me to be the person that I am today. And it made me want to go out and protect and defend. That's why I joined the Army. And that's why thank you for your service, brother. Thank you. And I just want to know, did you guys ever think that your characters would have that effect on someone just at all?
I think we were happy that we were like an influence on kids and stuff. But you just think about it like, oh, when they're little kids, we just they're having fun and whatever. But actually, like helping them achieve something bigger in life and really something meaningful to contribute to society. We never really thought that we would be able to have that effect. This many years later. So we're really excited about that. It's really cool. It's really rewarding.
Narvi and I were discussing our characters yesterday, and we were saying the ones that aren't dead or in jail, the fans of Bulk and Skull that aren't dead or in jail have done a great job not getting caught. What's up, Noah? Oh yeah, I just called you out.
You called me out.
Yeah, your address is 127.
Big fan of the show. Thank you all for coming. My general question is open. What was your favorite episodes? I mean, were you in them? Were you in them? Were they on in the series when you guys left the series? I'm curious.
Favorite episodes?
What, me?
Yeah. Oh, it's Paul.
Paul.
Countdown to destruction. Parts 1 and 2.
Oh, I like the Western the best. Oh, it's great. We got horses and mustaches.
I also enjoyed you in the.
Horses with mustaches. That's a horrible thing to say about AJ.
You can wax a horse, but you.
No.
Other questions? Yes, right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you went to the mic. Go for it.
Yeah.
And in costume.
All right. Well, I kind of want to echo what the first guy said, and really thank you. I mean, I was this little weird, nerdy, awkward kid, and I was bullied all the time. And you guys showed me a world where people like me could be valued for who we were, where intelligence and diversity and creativity were respected. And you know, I mean, as an adult, you guys were my first superheroes. As an adult, every time I've stood up and spoken for someone who needed a voice, every time I've stood up to protect someone, it's been because part of me still asks what the Power Rangers would do. I guess after that lead, my question's gonna be really silly, but what do you imagine? I mean, of course, Bulk and Skull got to come back for Samurai, but 20 years on, what do you imagine your characters are up to?
Well, everybody knows I'm sleeping in the garage with a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, with my son. What is wrong with you?
Totally legit.
Totally legit.
It's a clubhouse.
Well, Rita and Zed had a terrible divorce. And, you know, she's losing as ever trying to conquer Earth. You know, she's just not going to make it. But, you know, she's collecting Social Security.
I think Tanya got a record deal, and her and Adam are probably hanging out. Not necessarily together. Really good friends. And Cassandra, come give me a hug, because you just really touched my heart.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is actually a question for the two voice actors we have for Rita and Goldberg.
Where are you? This is body voice is creepy. Where's the sword? Oh! The God was talking to us.
That was good.
Stand up!
Yes, my master. I like to ask this to a lot of voice actors because I'm a big fan of different voice acting. And when it came to the voices of your characters, did they tell you that that's what they were going to sound like, or did you think of that yourself?
Barbara?
Okay. Some of you know the story, but I'll tell it as quickly as I can. They wanted me to do the Wicked Witch of the West. I'll get you, my pretty. And the pilot was with that voice. And I was fired because they said the people thought it wasn't scary enough. So I said, well, what? That's how you directed me. Let me do a scarier, different voice. And they said, well, we're gonna have auditions. And I said, well, can I audition? And they said, yes, you can audition. Well, I was so pissed off because, it's called having a director.
Take it easy now. Take it easy.
So I went in and I said, you want it scarier? How's this? And Rita was born, not knowing I'd be doing it for 5+ years, and that's how she was created. That's mine. I'm sticking to that one. Goldar?
Goldar was, I was told that's what I'm going to do, that guy, and I said, well, we didn't really know the show was going to go or sell or anything, so, I stuck this kind of nothing voice on him, and then it sold, and I realized what I'd done initially for the pilot, and I don't know if anybody saw the pilot, but it was, it was a very pinched sound. And I realized I can't sustain this, so I had a little basement in my house at the time, and I went down there and spent about an hour figuring out how I'm gonna make this thing work.
What else do you do in that basement?
Yeah, I opened the door for that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yep, yeah. So anyway, I figured out how to get the air rolling over the pipes and, could get away with about an hour. But I never could understand how Barbara did hers. It was like, I can't, whatever you're doing, it's hurting me and I can't.
I don't understand it either, but it's there and it hasn't left.
So, and I always had to have my head set really hot so I knew where the place, well, it's like, a monitor for a rock singer. I had to hear everything really loud so I knew exactly where the placement was, so I didn't scratch my chords.
Hey, one of the lines that I like actually from Goldar is in the movie when Ivan Ooze and them are standing on top of that tower, and then the Pink Ranger, Kimberly's flying in on the thing, and he goes, Ivan Ooze goes, oh, here comes that cute little Pink Ranger, and then Goldar goes, oh, you think she's cute too? Oh, you think she's cute too? That was awesome. That was a good line. Go ahead.
Hey, well, thank you all for coming and taking me down memory lane, childhood memories. But I actually have a question for some of obviously the voice actor work, unbelievable job, but the Rangers and Vulcan Skull, are there any, because there are a lot of martial arts in the choreography, are there any interesting stories, mishaps between the choreography that you can come up with, that you can think of that stuck out? And you two, obviously were kidnapped a couple of times. Any interesting stories to tell? You and the putties, obviously.
Well, we never got hurt. We never were injured in our performances. My feelings hurt a couple times.
Yeah, we usually had things that found ways to seep into our orifices. So the pain came 2 or 3 days later. And you're like, that was a great story. Where the hell did I get in there? That's usually how.
We did discover, it's funny little things you learn, like what the half-life of yogurt in your eye is. I mean, who would think to figure that out? The answer is 4.25 hours. If you put cultured Greek yogurt in your face, 4.25 hours, you'll be able to see again.
Beautiful. I had a physical problem. Recording. Yeah, it was a bitch. No, believe it or not, no, seriously, I've never passed out in my life. And I had a sequence, I'm sorry to say I don't remember what episode it was, it was 20 years ago, but I started to black out. And it was a long sequence that I was doing as Goldar, and I realized the air was going and I was going, and I didn't want to do it again. And so the screen was starting to go black, and I'm kind of, finishing out the performance. I'm down to 5-6 seconds. and I had to finish it. The thought of redoing this was horrible because I'm like, wow, I'm blacking out. And the screen started to go black and I started to fall backwards and I just held on and I finished out the cue and my ears felt like, you know, a gun had exploded. It was the pain, the whole thing was just a surreal experience. And I bent over in two and Scott said, what the hell is going on? So I held it out though, you know, and then we played it back and it worked. It barely worked. I mean, I was a little off mic because I was falling out, but it was an interesting experience. The only time I've ever almost passed out, you know, there was just no more air left. So anyway, you know, I was physical too in the studio.
I did, but it sounds so pathetic after what just happened to you.
Oh, I don't know.
In the second movie, we had to jump off a cliff, and we were all really tired. It's been a really long day, and I twisted my ankle. So you can see in the film, it's like a girl with a very bad wig on doing the jump for me. And then we had to go in the water, and it was really, really cold, and I couldn't breathe. I was like getting like hypothermia or something. I sound like such a wimp, don't I? But no. After a long day of working, and when you're in shorts that are like right up your bum, I think it's like...
Now everyone's going to watch that movie to see that
I've got it on my phone right now, actually.
No.
I broke microphones.
I'm just that good. No intro.
Sorry.
You know, I will say this just for fun, since we were just talking about this. I've had 2 black eyes in my life. Steve, could you stand up for a second?
Okay.
Black eye number 1. Paulie, could you stand up for a second? Black eye number 2.
What do you tell somebody with 2 black eyes? Nothing, you already told them twice.
He really deserved it, though. I swear, I love him.
I got a great picture of the first time Paulie ever held my son, and I got a black eye. Paulie and me with my son and a black eye. What the hell?
Jason's mother-in-law was there, and she was like, "So you're Paulie?" It's like, yeah. We're booking school.
Go ahead, next question.
How you guys doing? I'm Joe from Warwick, Rhode Island.
Hi, Joe.
First, I want to say thank you guys for coming. It's amazing how many of you were able to make it here. Now, we all know, we all love Rita, we all love Zed, we all kind of like Ivanus.
He was cool.
But what are your favorite monsters from the series?
Vulcan Skull.
You ripped that joke off. You took that joke.
You beat the draw. Like, oh, it's gotta be.
I'm gonna give that to you, Kat.
I liked Rita and Divatox. I did.
Just kidding, I know.
Dads like Divatox, and the boys, right?
Yeah.
King Mondo was awesome.
Divatox is hot. She's hot.
I like Squat and Baboon. And Goldar.
Yeah, Goldar was pretty cool.
Goldar was all right.
Yeah, he was all right.
Good, next question.
Ever since the very beginning, 1993.
Thank you.
And I didn't take time right on some questions. I'll just go with one I think that are important.
Let's just do one. Pick your favorite.
Okay. Did any of you ever get to keep any costumes and props from the show?
Or steal them?
Oh, look, he stole.
Yeah!
Been on very famous shows or popular shows. The props are not thrown into an archive. Even on really popular shows, if somebody doesn't rescue something, it goes into a box, and when the show wraps, it gets destroyed or thrown in the trash many times. So, although ethically, one could make the argument that just because something's gonna be thrown away doesn't mean you can take it, I'm gonna go with that. But when you're watching your own character history go down the hall into a trash bin, I can understand the tendency to wanna.
Your tendency, what? That's it?
To pluck and pick.
Excellent. Next question.
Get up there. Thank you,
Thank you,
Greg.
Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Greg, I want to make sure that I get some of these. There's a long line here, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Greg.
I'm Alex.
Hey, Alex. What's up, Alex?
My question is, if any of you could switch with someone else's character, what would it be?
Episode Happy Birthday, Zach. That would be me.
Well, I think we're. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'm very happy with the character I played. I mean, I think it was an honor to have given that character life. But as far as Rangers are concerned, I think the Green Ranger probably is the best written Ranger of all. I would love to have some of the storylines he had. I would love to be evil and have my own Zord and that kind of stuff. So, but I'm very happy with the Black Ranger. Black Ranger, what's up?
I would probably want to step into Cat's shoes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you were evil too, right? Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah.
I would never have wanted to be anybody but Rita. If I had to choose one more, I guess it would be Chaim Saban.
Oh my. That's funny. I would never want to be anything but play Goldar, except I did get to play a character that if I were not to have gotten to play Magna Defender, it would have been my choice. It was one of the favorites. You're awesome.
The best question that we've ever gotten here.
What's your favorite food?
Spaghetti and meatballs. Spaghetti.
It's my favorite.
Positive, awesome. My favorite food is Guinness.
And my question is concerning an LA Times article from the late 90s or early 2000s, and it was about the Screen Actors Guild forbidding their members from working for Saban. And did you guys hear about that? If not, what do you think about that?
We've never heard of the Screen Actors Guild.
The reality of the truth behind that article is that for a long time, our company was an ununion company. And that was an attempt by the Screen Actors Guild to force Saban Entertainment into working under a union contract, which ultimately was successful when they negotiated over the course of 18 months to create the foreign dubbing agreement, which brought us all under the union umbrella for a significant portion of the end of the show. Any foreign production, however, was outside of the purview of that agreement, which one could argue that it was still circumvented. Exactly. You don't even get out here and beat it. You know everything already.
Well, also the article, I remember mentioned economically exploiting children. I don't know.
Welcome to America.
It's about children, I don't think.
I'm not sure what they meant by that. Maybe it was getting them by the toys. I'm not sure why they mentioned it. Well,
He's gonna do it too. You too.
I just don't morph like I used to.
It's morphin' time. Mess it up.
It's morphin' time.
Tyrannosaurus.
I actually never said pterodactyl because that was Kimberly's line. But I said pink ranger power. Okay, I can't remember. I'm gonna I didn't have an animal,
Go Zio.
so I'm gonna do
Zio!
if I can remember. Let me see.
Zio Ranger 1, yellow.
Zero Ranger 2, yellow.
Who's the juice?
When you were young.
I watched the Carol Burnett show. I loved Carol Burnett and all the skits, and my brothers, my older brother and I, we would dress up and pretend to our own little skits and try to make our parents laugh.
Nobody would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Try us.
Barbara and Robert playing Lord Zed. He's not with us. He had to catch a plane because, as you know, the Los Angeles
Phrases, I'm gonna just do that now for you. Make my monster grow!
Oh my God.
I have such a
That was cool to watch all the different Rangers come back and stuff. But I think just showing up to set, I mean, all these guys were super excited that I was showing up. They were all excited, like, oh my God, Tommy's coming back. It was like a legend, you know, like just imagine being like, the only scenario, sorry, but like being a young rapper and having Snoop Dogg, the OG. Yeah. You know, I felt like Snoop Dogg coming to set, you know, because I was like, oh, that's Tommy, he's the OG guy. And so that was really cool, going to New Zealand and filming and just meeting. I really liked the Diamond Finger cast. They were really cool. The Red Ranger I didn't really care about, but I think it's something, I don't know if I'm to be honest, but you know, because all these guys are like, we should fight, we should spar, and I'm like, yeah, cool. Now, I mean, I got gloves in the fire, and I'm always on next week. But I think it's something. I guess it's just a cool thing over there. But it was fun. So I would say my first day on set.
Kind of a prankster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some of your most memorable pranks that you pulled on Power Rangers and other shows?
Man, there's a lot of them that I remember.
Wasn't really on set. It is funny, like, my brother was a big part. He was like my real brother, and he was passed away on set. But he was going through some difficult time, like with me, on all this stuff. So they stayed out, and that happened to be
He was talking about, he's like, you know, your brother stole my Mercedes for a whole week. Yeah, I was gone. I think we were filming, and he hid the keys, and your brother found them, and he took the girls out of the bar, and then they and all that. I thought that was funny. But I say a few things, and I'm like, oh, darn it, that's the wrong season. I shouldn't have said that. So, but being the leader of leaders is pretty difficult. Because they're all leaders, so we all have this, I'm a leader of the show, and then the leader comes into the leaders, it's kind of like, you know? And it was definitely different. I didn't know anyone, but I met some other people there that, you know, and they were cool and all that, so it was definitely different. It was cool because I worked with the same guys that I did Forever Red. Actually, the same guys that when I worked as like Tommy from the very beginning, the same group of people did Super Mega Force 20 years later. So I worked with the same ADs, the same camera guys, and you know, and going back to set, they would laugh and be like, "Oh, we missed you, man. It's been a lonely 20 years." It was good, but yeah. If I answered your question. Hollywood, and I was told the show would never last, and they didn't pick me up. They represented, I think, like Chuck Norris, Maria Reyes Jr., if you know who he is, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, and they told me the show was never going to last. You know, I think if you're just passionate about what you do and stick with it, I would say one thing.
I'm kind of glad the way that Power Rangers went down, where they sold it to Disney. I know a lot of people aren't, but that's the reason why it's picked up so much, is because it's in Saban's hands again. And they know how to promote it, they know how to embrace it, they know how to do that kind of. Hein is really smart like that. And I would definitely go back and just tell all the critics that now you can blame another show, and you know, violence was created, and I'm not saying we're violent, but I'm saying if you're gonna blame us, violence was created before movie cameras were created. I mean, kids were playing cowboys and Indians and everything else, so they can go move on and go blame the Walking Dead people now.
Thank you so much.
I like the skydiving scenes. That was pretty cool. That's what I got in the skydiving for. I was like, can I do it? Because there's so much in skydiving, people just don't understand. Like you look and you're like, I can't wait. They're like, I really want to do a jump one day, like in the squirrel suit, and like swoop the mountains. Like that's super hard. That's like super hard. I mean, super. So I like the skydiving scenes, especially when Vulcan Skull jumped out of the airplane. They didn't have their things fastened. They don't even, you know. But that was definitely fun. And doing the green screen was fun, filming it. Like we were looking like we're skydiving. Even my helmet didn't hit my head. And it was just fun filming the whole, like shutting down the whole city and just filming. It was like cool. So now I know how Paris Hilton feels when she shuts the whole hotel down when she goes and travels somewhere. It's true. She goes to Brazil, she shuts the whole hotel down. Hotel, motel, whatever it is. Hotel, motel, holiday. Yeah, that was probably my favorite. You can grab one of these. Gosh, you know, I always look down as like a little brother and stuff like that. You know, and I wouldn't say Dave like well, I don't know. I mean, Dave was a good friend. I don't know about, friendship. Maybe brotherly love with Kimberly. Brothers and sisters. Is that legal? Anyway, but yeah, probably, you know, Dave and Johnny, I was, you know, mostly hanging out with all those guys. So maybe that was brother. And then, of course, my brother, because it was brotherly love. But yeah, that's awesome. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming. This one? All right, if you guys can, hit me up on Facebook and all that stuff, and then I'll do a morphing thing here. All right, are you ready? This coin better not come out. Dragon Sword! Guys, thanks for coming. I'll see you guys in the VIP. Thanks, guys.